They sent 3 police cruisers to my property at 6 in the morning. Gravel exploding under their tires, coffee still warm in my hands, and there's this woman filming me from her Range Rover with a smile on her face. She called the cops on me for trespassing on land my great-grandfather homesteaded in 1887. That's when I knew Belle Thornwick had picked a fight with the wrong rancher. My name is Garrett Holloway. This is 2,400 acres of Montana paradise that Augustus Holloway carved from wilderness over a century ago. A 12-acre spring-fed lake where 4 generations of my family were born, raised, and laid to rest. 3 years ago, I scattered my grandmother Eleanor's ashes at sunset on those shores, the same place she used to shell peas while watching her grandkids swim. This isn't just land. It's everything. 5 years ago, a developer crammed 200 McMansions onto the adjacent section and called it Whispering Pines Estates. Like an idiot, I signed their emergency vehicle access easement just being neighborly. That's when Belle slithered into my life like a designer-dressed rattlesnake. Late 40s, blonde highlights costing more than my monthly feed bill, driving a Range Rover that had never seen actual dirt. A real estate agent married to a bank VP, the kind of woman who pronounces agriculture like it's a communicable disease. Her complaints started immediately. My cattle smelled. My native grasses were unsightly from her kitchen window. Could I make things more professional? I laughed. Big mistake. Then her son Tucker discovered my lake. 22 years old, Instagram influencer, work ethic of roadkill. Started bringing friends for content creation. Diesel trucks at dawn, beer bottles in the cattails, electronic music drowning out bird songs that predated his entire bloodline. But tolerance became trespassing, and trespassing became a business. Tucker was charging $300 a head for exclusive Montana wilderness access, posting about my family's private lake like he'd inherited it from his ancestors. The kid was born in Phoenix. Then Belle played what she thought was her trump card. She showed up at my door one evening with a manila folder and that patronizing smile. Garrett, she said, her voice dripping with fake concern, I've done historical research. Original homestead papers included recreational water rights for township residents. She spread photocopied documents across my kitchen table, pointing at official county clerk stamps with manicured nails. I'd read enough legal documents over the years to spot amateur forgery in about 30 seconds. Her papers referenced Whispering Pines Township, cute name, except her subdivision didn't exist until 2019. My great-grandfather's homestead predated it by 132 years. But I remembered my grandfather's advice. When someone shows you fake papers, let them think you're falling for it while you gather evidence of their fraud. I'll need to review these with my attorney, I said, photographing every page. Her smile faltered. The coffee in my cup had gone cold. I hired the county's top surveyor the following week. $800 well spent when GPS mapping revealed Belle's pristine fence had been encroaching 3 feet onto my land for 200 yards. Then came 8 high-definition security cameras with night vision covering every inch of lake access. Within days they caught pure gold. Tucker arriving with a full film crew, lights, boom mics, catering truck, shooting an energy drink commercial. On my property. Audio captured him telling the director, "Yeah, this is my family's lake, been coming here since I was a kid." Reviewing more footage revealed something that made my blood freeze. Tucker had built a fishing dock on my property without permission, charging clients extra for the authentic experience. His Instagram had exploded to 50,000 followers. He was running a full commercial operation, earning what he'd later brag was $47,000 in just 3 months. I had every second of that dock construction on camera, plus audio of Tucker explaining his profit margins. Meanwhile, Belle was weaponizing the county bureaucracy. False noise complaints, manufactured nuisance claims, even a domestic disturbance call claiming I'd threatened her with violence. Deputy Collins showed up tense, body camera rolling. I just opened my phone and pulled up the security footage. Belle screaming at me about rural terrorism while I stood 15 feet away speaking in a perfectly calm voice before walking away. Collins shook his head watching it. "Ma'am clearly has issues with the truth," he said. But he also warned me she was filing for a restraining order. She organized a community meeting with aerial photos of my ranch, calling me feudally aggressive and mentally unstable. She spread financial rumors that I was about to sell to developers. In ranch country, suggesting a man can't pay his bills is character assassination. She got neighbors to file joint nuisance complaints. She called Channel 7 News, staging crying kids in swimsuits at my fence line holding signs reading, "Let us swim." She set up a GoFundMe that raised $12,000 in 2 days. Death threats started flooding my email. 3 local businesses canceled their contracts with me, including my veterinarian and the mechanic who'd serviced my equipment for 15 years. Then she crossed a line that made everything personal. My water pump system failed on the hottest week of summer. 80-year-old equipment finally giving up, or so it seemed, until I found the severed electrical lines and smashed control panel hidden behind the pump house. $8,000 in repairs. My cattle lost water access. The security cameras caught shadows moving at 2 a.m., figures in hoodies, but it was the tire tracks in the mud that sealed it. Distinctive tread pattern matching Tucker's lifted pickup truck. While I dealt with repairs, my daughter Skylar, home from college studying journalism, started digging into Belle's background. What she found was dynamite. Belle had been fired from a previous real estate job for falsifying property documents. Client reviews accused her of scamming elderly sellers with forged paperwork. Her husband's bank was facing federal audit for questionable lending practices, the same bank holding the subdivision's construction loans and most residents' mortgages. Then came the Free the Lake party. Tucker invited 200 people to a peaceful protest to reclaim community water rights. Peaceful in influencer speak meant a drunken invasion with professional camera equipment. They came like locusts. Cars parked along the county road for half a mile. Fireworks launched over water where my grandmother's ashes rested. A grass fire started by Roman candles consumed 40 acres of prime pasture. $15,000 in damage. 3 alcohol poisoning cases. Tucker and Belle vanished before questioning. But documenting that fire damage the next morning, I noticed something. The county emergency services bill was addressed to my ranch, not the subdivision. Every police call, every fire response, every ambulance run connected to Belle's campaign against me had been funded through my own tax payments. I started pulling records, and the pattern led me to my grandfather's old filing cabinet, buried under decades of farm equipment receipts, where I found a folder marked County Service District, 1962. My hands trembled reading the legal language. Back in the 60s, Montana created special districts to provide municipal services to rural areas. My grandfather's ranch, being the largest land holding in the region, was designated as the anchor parcel. The original agreement made the ranch owner the legal service district administrator with broad oversight powers over police patrols, fire department response, emergency medical services, and road maintenance for the entire area, including the subdivision. Those powers had transferred automatically when I inherited the ranch 3 years ago. I'd had no idea. My attorney confirmed it Monday morning, her voice practically vibrating. Garrett, you've been unknowingly paying 60% of the district's budget, roughly $200,000 annually, while they used those same services to harass you. And it got worse. A forensic audit revealed the spending patterns were criminal. A security company billing $400,000 annually, owned by Belle's husband's business partners, providing services that existed mostly on paper. Pool chemicals, tennis court lighting, clubhouse utilities, all fraudulently charged as public infrastructure. They'd stolen nearly $2 million over 5 years. I sent certified letters to the HOA board, the county commissioners, the state attorney general, local media, and the FBI's white-collar crime division simultaneously, announcing my authority as administrator and demanding immediate financial audit. Belle's panic response was immediate. She filed a domestic terrorism report claiming I was threatening community survival through infrastructure control. The governor's office apparently laughed her out of the building. She hired a Seattle PR firm for $37,000, paid from community funds without board approval. Fake social media accounts flooded platforms with negative reviews of my ranch. Tucker posted a tearful video claiming I'd threatened him. It went viral. More death threats poured in. Then she walked across my pasture in designer heels on a Saturday evening, stumbling on uneven ground, and made the biggest mistake of her life. My body camera was rolling when she offered me $50,000 cash to drop the legal action and let Tucker keep using the lake. Bribery on camera with audio. I asked her if she was offering to pay me with money she'd stolen from my tax payments. Her composure cracked completely. She offered to resign, sell the house, move away. She still didn't understand what she tried to steal. The county commissioner's hearing drew standing room-only attendance with TV cameras and live streams. I sat at the front table with color-coded binders of evidence. Across the aisle, Belle huddled with 3 attorneys from Billings. I laid out everything. The fraudulent service contracts. The $200,000 in stolen funds. Tucker's documented $200,000 in illegal lake access income while reporting $37,000 on his tax returns. The bribery recording played through the chamber speakers. Belle's own voice admitting to accounting irregularities echoing off the walls. The most powerful testimony came from Margaret Henderson, a neighbor who'd been forced to sign false complaints against me. Belle had threatened foreclosure through her husband's bank if residents didn't support her. We were terrified, Margaret said, tears streaming down her face. The commissioners voted unanimously to terminate all HOA service contracts pending investigation and refer the case to state and federal prosecutors. Belle was arrested walking out of the building. 18 months federal prison. $400,000 in restitution. Tucker received 5 years probation and a lifetime ban from monetizing social media content using my property. The civil settlement added $500,000 in damages. Belle's husband's bank collapsed under federal investigation. The new HOA leadership publicly apologized and established the Holloway Accord, permanent legal recognition of historic ranch operations with protection against future interference. The ecosystem started recovering immediately. Waterfowl returned. The natural balance my great-grandfather had protected was restored. I used the recovered funds to establish the Rural Heritage Protection Fund, which helped 47 families across Montana defend their property rights within the first 6 months. Montana's legislature later passed the Rural Property Rights Protection Act. People started calling it the Bell Bill. Last weekend I stood by that lake watching my daughter teach university students about watershed protection. The water lapped against those smooth stones the same way it has for over a century, still carrying my grandmother's laughter on quiet evenings. My grandfather always said the land teaches patience, but it also teaches justice. Belle Thornwick thought rural meant powerless. She thought kindness meant weakness. She had no idea she was fighting someone whose family had been learning this land's laws longer than her subdivision had existed. Sometimes bullies pick fights they absolutely cannot win. And when they do, you don't just defend yourself. You make sure they can never do it to anyone else.